Hello and welcome to another Game Maker tutorial, and this time we're going to be using the new one, the Game Maker Studio, which is available on Steam if anyone has a Steam account, or if you want to, you can go on the website, and that is Game Maker, and automatically Game Maker Studio Yo-Yo Games. So it'll be all the W's, yoyogames.com. You can do /studio, and here you can do the free download. The free version may be missing a few bits and bobs. As you can see here, you can get the standard, which is about £50, professional 100, or the master collection if you have £800 spare. I wish. But yeah, it allows you to export for Windows Phones 8, things like that. Includes all the features, but for now, I would say probably get the standard or get the studio one. Depends how far you want to go. So, enough about me selling this game. Also, I'm going to be following resources and tutorials from the Game Maker Apprentice book, which is the book to buy if you want to just get started with Game Maker. Doesn't matter what version you're using, it is brilliant. It really helped me. So, here it is on Amazon. The Game Maker's Apprentice, Game Development for Beginners. It comes with CD, which I will be using, so I cannot give out the resources to everyone. You must purchase the book. It is worth it. Trust me. And yep, price, bit pricey, but looks like there's a few, there's used ones for £13 here, so get going. You got £13.64, get it. Or if you want a brand new one for £16.41, get it. I would definitely recommend it. Right, enough about me trying to sell you products. Let's get going on Game Maker Studio. Now, the layout is completely different. We've got welcome, so we've got a silly welcome page, which I know some people will find really annoying. What's the point of welcome page? Just give me the game. I'm going to start a new document to make this following game. Cool. It's a demo version of a little game called Evil Clutches, which I'm just going to try and load. This tutorial's about creating a shooting dragon and an automatic shooting demon. We're not going to have too many of the fancy features, which will hopefully play. So, I'm not going to have this easy medium just yet. In our game, we're just going to have the character, the demon, shooting. And ooh, I gotta shoot the demons. Oh, I shoot the babies. You can't shoot the babies, that's bad. There, got him. He got me. The one we'll be creating today, because it's the first one from the book, it's going to be very, very simple. It's not going to have too many, like, the health and shield and things. I'm shielded. But yeah, that's enough of me playing that game. I could play it all day. So, yeah, our version is going to be a bit basic, but it's going to include the same graphics, aka sprites for those who are familiar with game terminology. So, create documents. Brand spanking new, and I'm just going to navigate to my directory. Just go to my documents, wherever my documents are. Actually, I'm just going to go back a bit and just call this one Evil Clutches. Now, it's important that you remember the project name, because this is going to be incredibly important later, because Game Maker X is really different. For those who want to make sure they've got the same version as me, that's Game Maker 1.1.929. So there we go, just starting up, and oop, it's going maximum screen, so I'm just going to jiggle this to fit my area a bit. There, that's a bit better. Perfect. Oh, maybe not so perfect. See, I'm very fussy with these things. There we go. So, yeah, this is the basic layout. You may notice it's a lot darker than 8.1, which is the previous version I've been using in tutorials. But the basics are there. You've got your sprites, sound, background, paths, etc. The only difference you're really going to see is the compile message, where you've got compile and source code. It's just probably telling you something's wrong. So, I haven't really got into this one too much. I've been mostly using 8.1, which has been a nicer one, but never mind. So this is our basic window. So always to start off with, we've got to make our sprites. So you can go to Resources, create sprite from here, or you can click on the green little Pac-Man in your toolbar here. So I may be using this one more later on, but to start with, when you're starting to get into it, always stick with this until you're used to it and you're more familiar. So sprite, and this one's going to be our dragon. So sprite underscore dragon, and we're going to load the sprite. So I may have to navigate a little bit. Oh dear, documents. Where are we? Game Maker stuff. Tutorials. There's my Clutches game, but I want chapter 2, which you get in the CD. That comes with the Game Maker Studio. So here we go, got my dragon, and one thing you really want to make sure of is that your background is removed. The minute that's ticked, if you don't have it ticked, you're going to have this horrible blue border which is going to show up in your game, so make sure that's ticked. The others, don't need to bother with, just that one, but that should be on automatically. So I'm going to go open, and that's what we need to do. We don't need to change the origin, we don't need to do anything else, that's just it. And another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to throw in some more. I'm going to use create sprite icon there, and I'm going to bring in the boss. He's going to be the guy creating our demons. So luckily we've got a boss there, the zebra guy. Again, when you're loading the sprite, make sure that's ticked again for all of these. All these you must have the background removed, but it should be there automatically. So okay, and that's all we need for the moment. We're going to bring all the, you can bring all the others in, but for now, just leave it at these. We're going to be adding, for me, we're going to be adding them as we go along. So, what we're going to do next, for anyone that's familiar with Game Maker, you've got your sprites, which are just images. Even though some of them got animations in the GIFs, they're still just images. They don't do anything, they just sit there and look pretty. The things that actually work are objects, so we need to create objects using our sprites. So to do that, Resources, create object, which is this ball icon, or you can click on this icon there. Both work. And this lovely window pops up, and it's a bit small in my area, which is a bit annoying. There we go. So, following the practices as in the Game Maker Apprentice, object. Well, I'm not following the book step by step. I'm doing it my own way because I use this tutorial enough times. So dragon sprite. There we go. I've created my dragon sprite, dragon object. Best to always stick with this method until you get used to it, and then you can create your own icons. So with the dragon object, we want it, so if we break down what we want our character to do, when he's on the stage, we want to make him move up and down using our up and down arrow keys. So we've got to create an event, and what I'm looking for is keyboard. You get these options, left, right, up, down. Oh, there's up, that's what I want. So we've got the keyboard, when we press up, it goes up. Now in the book it tells you to use the fixed one. I don't really like this one, but I'm going to stick with the book, make it less confusing. So we've got a fixed movement, which is in the Move tab here, and in the Move section there. So it's the very first one, so you can click and drag that into there. So here, I'll just explain this a little bit. So we've got Move fixed. It applies to self, other, or object. Well, leave it on self because we want it to apply to the actual dragon, our object itself. So since we're going up, we want it to go up. The movement speed, let's see, is going to be 16. But that's a nice speed. And do not tick relevant. You may have to a little bit later on in other movements or other actions, but not for this one. So go OK, because we wanted to move up. So there's his up one. That's done. So we move up, he goes up. So we're going to add another event, this time from going down. So keyboard, down. Bring in the fixed movement again, exactly the same. Self, down, 16. Okay, and that's it. Your character can then move up and down. Now, as I said before, my gripe with the fixed movement is that it will constantly move in that fixed movement. So what we need to do, we need to say when we're no longer pressing the key, stop moving. So we go add event, keyboard, and actually, so I can move this up a bit so you can see. Keyboard, and down here we've got no key. When I'm not pressing anything at all, I'm going to bring in the fixed movement yet again. And this time you're going to click on the middle one, which is don't move, stop. Stop right there, don't do anything. And that's it. You don't change the speed because he's stopped, he's not moving. So there you go. Okay, there is fairly basic logic. When you go into this game, later on you'll just snap and you'll understand it. So there we go. We got the basic movement of our dragon. So let's go OK. Keep it nice and clean. Now, if I want to bring in my dragon, it needs to go into what we call a room. So resources, create room. I'm creating the room a bit earlier than needs to be in the game, and I'm working in such a small space as well, which is annoying. Another handy feature, again with the new Game Maker Studio, you've got this to pan around your room, which is really handy. So I'm just going to pop it in the middle side there. So you got a little navigator. We've got object selected, which is our dragon, so I can click and holding down my left mouse button, drag it along. If I don't like it, I can right click and delete. I can bring in multiple dragons, but that's just going to get confusing, so I'm just going to delete and try and... You can actually click on the existing one, reposition it. Kind of like having a little bit of a space here, that's just preference. Can you scale this as well? Oh my goodness, you've got the option now to scale your dragon. That is cool. That was not in the other one. So just press Ctrl Z to undo that. So yeah, that's a new option. Huh, didn't guess that. And because we've got a room, I'm going to go into settings. And the name, just like we called in the other one, is going to be called Evil Clutches. The book says to call it room_first, but I had a few problems with that before, so we're just going to call it Evil Clutches. I'm going to have to look into the settings for the rooms a bit later on when we create more rooms, but for now, just call it Evil Clutches in the settings tab. So that's all we need at the moment, so click OK. And a good point to save your game, so I'm just going to save the project. There we go. And we've got this little icon here, a little green play button. We click that. And you can see the compile code is going a bit ballistic there. It's doing something. Okay, not sure where my game is, if it's playing. Ah, here we go. See, it's doing something there, writing more code. It takes a while sometimes, and because I'm recording, yeah. So there's our dragon. He's flapping. That's good. Pressing up. He goes up. He goes down. There's no limit to how much you can go up and down, which is a bit annoying. But that's hopefully something you can sort out later. So there we go. So now what we need to do is put in the boss. But this time, the boss needs to have... we can't control the boss. We can't tell the boss to go up and down. He needs to do it for himself. So that's what we're going to be doing next. So to get going, we've got to create the boss object. So you can go to Resources, Object, or click on the green ball there. Let's bring this window up. Okay, so this is going to be the boss object. So underscore boss. And we need the boss sprite. There you go, that's pretty simple. So now we've got to add an event. So when the boss is on the screen, when he starts, when he's created, he needs to start moving. So we're bringing in the create, and here he's going to do a, you guessed it, fixed movement. I would never have guessed that. So this one's going to be half the speed of our dragon, so he's going to go up to start with at a motion of 8. And that's it. That's all you got to do for that create section. So now what we want to do next is when he hits the bottom, or when he's going up, isn't he? Is he going up? Yes, he is. When he hits the top of the room, we want him to change direction automatically. So this is called Intersecting the Boundary. There's an event for this. So let's add event. It's not on the basic one, so we need to go to Other. We've got Intersect Boundary right here. So there we go, there's the Intersect Boundary. So now we want him to change direction vertically. Guess what, we've got an action in here, so if we look to the bottom, well the third middle, there's this little icon, reverse vertically. Drag that in and apply to self, and that's all you need to do, just click OK. So now when he hits the top and the bottom, he's going to be going up and down. That's fairly straightforward. So for now, we're just going to press OK. And I'm going to double click and go into our room. Bring this in a bit so you can see. And I'm going in objects, we've got the boss selected, so I'm going to click and drag him in here. Click OK, that's OK. And play the room. So there we go, we got the script doing its thing again. Hopefully it will not, because, oh look, it's loading a lot faster. So there we go, he's going up and down and I can go much faster than he is. So there we go. Next we have to create the events for me to shoot my fireballs. So that's what we're going to be doing. There we go. So we need to bring in the fireball sprite, because that's what we're going to be shooting with. So create sprite underscore fireball load sprite, and we've got fireball there. There you go, that's what you need to do. And just again remember to have the background removed on. That needs to be selected. So there you go. Click OK. There it is right there. And then we need to tell it to actually move about. So we're going to create the object. So I'm going to be using these options here. So I'm going to click on the ball to create the object. Bring this up a bit there. So object underscore fireball. Bring in the fireball sprite. So now we've got to do, we think of it, the object when it's created has to move forward, and then when it goes outside the room it's got to destroy itself. Why does it have to destroy itself? Because what will happen is that your object will constantly spawn fireballs. They'll be constantly moving across the screen forever. And the more fireballs you create, the more that's in the scene, the more objects are being activated, and it'll cause your game to lag, which is really annoying. So before we do that, add event when it's created by our dragon. Create, it's going to do its fixed movement. Now this one's going to go very fast to the right, and it's going to go at 32. Yeah, I think that's a nice number, and it's also in the book. So, yep, click OK, and we're going to add an event, sort of like intersecting the boundary, but there's an option for when it goes outside the room. So we go Other, outside the room, and this time we don't have a delete option in the Move tab, so we're going to have to go click on Main 1, where we've got different sets of icons. And we want this weird recycling bin, which means that it's going to destroy itself, destroy instance. So we click in there. We want it to destroy itself and click OK. So there we go, that's all you need to do for the fireball, but we need to get the dragon to create it. So I'm going to click OK. Reopen the dragon object by double clicking on it. Bring this up so you can see what I'm doing. Now this one's going to be a little bit different. With the dragon object, I'm just going to open up a file on the side here. It's always good to think of and plan what exactly it is that you're going to do. So hopefully this won't take too long in its preparation. Oop, there we go. Automatically gives open in Internet Explorer, which can be a bit annoying. So here we go. This is the time when you open up. And pardon me, I got a bit of a cold at the moment, which again is extremely annoying. So yes, I've got the sniffles. Not very pleasant. So go away. No, I don't care. So here's a dragon. I'm just going to zoom right into it. So with our dragon, if we think of it, when we press a button, we want it to spawn the fireballs. So it needs to be, we need to figure out where its mouth is. Now you could take this into Photoshop and measure it, or you could just read the book. And at the moment, to get to its point at the mouth here, we need it to go across 100 pixels, that's 100 pixels across, and then down by 10 pixels. So that's X, 100, Y, which is the up and down, by 10. And that'll get us to the mouth here, so spawn its fireballs there. So now I can get rid of that. So we're going to add an event. Now this time we're going to do key press, because we do the keyboard one, you can cheat and just hold down and spawn an infinite number of fireballs. Now we don't want it to be that easy, so key press, and we want the spacebar. Where is it? There it is, the spacebar. So slightly different symbol when you just press it. So this time we're going to create our instance. So if we go to main 1, we've got this weird create instance icon there. I'm going to drag that in. That's going to create our fireball. So we've got self. Yeah, applies to the dragon itself. The object it's going to create is the fireball. So change it to that using this drop down. And remember I explained X going across is 100. Y has to be 10. And this time we've got to click relative. Why do we have to click relative? Because what would happen is that without this being ticked, it would spawn the fireball X, well, in the X position of the stage, not our dragon object. So if you keep relative, so the dragon's moving up and down, it's checking, okay, where's the dragon? There's a dragon relative to its position, add this to it. Okay? You notice if you make the mistake and forget to tick it, etc. So click OK. Alright, that's cool. So let's click OK. And let's test it out. There we go, going much faster this time. You'll notice that every time you test your game, so there we go, and it's coming out its mouth by the looks of it. I guess I could reduce the X maybe by 5. So go up, it's moving. I can going ballistic here in this when I press it, so yep. Okay, so we got the dragon at this stage, and I think that's a good place to leave this tutorial, and I'll catch you in part 2 of Evil Clutches.